G'day everyone, welcome back to the car tutorial, episode number 4, I think. In this episode, I'm going to be showing you how to add extra camera angles, because we love more camera angles, and as well as adding extra camera angles, I'm going to show you how to add this sort of swinging effect, where you can swing the camera around, and then if you wait long enough, it'll swing back to its resting position. Let's get into it. Cool, so we're back on our project. We've got our driver, he's moving around. We've got the wheels, which are bugging out into the car, but that's okay because we've got to set the wheels at their bottoming out position, as per the documentation. Obviously you could fix it up a little bit. So, different camera angles. Now the first thing we're going to do is just a chase cam. So, the one that everybody's used to. I'm just going to, because we're working with cameras, I'm just going to turn on the second little preview, second view preview. So what most people are going to do, they're just going to set this up. Let's go turn this one off current, we'll turn this one on. And Bob's your uncle, we're expecting it to work. And it does to a certain degree, but it is ugly. Oh, here we go. Okay, so this is the code. We're just going to get rid of that real quick, and we're going to run that again. Now, what you'll notice is, obviously, as we're driving around, the camera looks like crap. I mean, that's not what we want. I'm not going to go into detail as to why we don't want that. It should be pretty obvious why we don't want this camera angle to look like that. We want it to chase properly. And so we're going to just yoink it from a different game. The way that they do it in, let's say, GTA, for instance, or any other game where you've got a free sort of camera. Also, we fixed up the body code a little bit. Obviously, you could do a little bit more, but instead of having two lines, in the last tutorial, both of them said X, sort of like this. We're just going to dumb it down into a single line where we figure out the exact sort of position for it. So, what we need to do here is create an input function. An input function here, func input. Cool, and from there we need to, well actually we've got to declare like a mouse sensitivity. So var mouse sense float equals 0.1 we'll start with. And then we want to go if event is input mouse motion, that's the one. Now we need to set up a camera rig because we're going to be rotating this thing. So the way you need to think about it is, this is sort of like attached to the car right now with a pole, and what we need to do is we need to sort of add like a pivot to it. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a camera rig. So we're going to create a node 3D as the parent. We're going to call it camera rig, cam rig. And now it should make sense, yeah, because our position for the cam rig is at 0, 0. And now if we just turn on this preview here, now obviously if we turn this, we're going to move the car, but we've got the same issues where if I show you this, we just run that, oh, we might get an issue. Yeah, we're going to get an issue here, so we'll just pass that. Yeah, 5, we'll go again. And the same issue is if we're just, it just looks the same, but from the side. So even if we were to turn this around, we've still got the same problems. I mean, the camera's upside down, and then also it's clipping, and we're going to fix that as well in this tutorial. So the first thing I usually do in a situation like this is I'll set the cam rig as top level. It's the first thing that we do, set it as top level. And now if we were to play it, I'll just show you what top level does. Basically, its coordinates become global coordinates, so it's not attached to the car anymore. But if this was just in the scene, then we would need to instantiate it every single time we brought a car in. So we're not going to do that. We're just going to keep it top level on here. So next thing we want to do is we want to add a remote transform 3D. And then inside that remote transform 3D, we're actually going to grab that cam rig. And now what that does is, without changing anything, I'll just show you, it's going to now take that position of that remote transform 3D and it's going to put the cam rig where that is. So we've got the same issue. So what we need to do is we have to disable the rotation and we need to code that in ourselves. But the position we're going to keep from that remote transform 3D. And now if you see this, we're going to get the position locking, but as soon as we turn, it's not going to like sort of rotate the cam rig, right? But that's what we would need to do. We'd need to rotate the cam rig slowly, alert it to sort of end up at the back of the car where it should be, chasing the car. So also the physics of the car look terrible, but you know, we're not going to fix that just yet. We might do it at the end. And I'll show you what a good set of settings look like for the car, I suppose. Now that chase cam, so we've got that. And now what we need to do is we have to rotate that cam rig. So we're going to just go into the code. And this is only going to work in the Y direction, but we also need something to do it in the X direction, but we don't want to do it like this. What we want is, and actually we're going to move the cam transformation point up to about here, just so the center of the rotation is just a little bit nicer. So look down, we're just gonna a little bit of a play around here, get this looking nice. Obviously play with the FOV as well. Get a little bit closer, not too close so the car looks stretched, but we'll find that good sort of medium point. Maybe down like that. Something like that. Okay, so then we're going to check the position. Yep. Cool. And the Y. This is 1.2. Yep. Awesome. So I'm going to create another parent for this, another node 3D. And we're going to call it pitch arm, because it will be controlling the pitch of the camera. It's just going to be easier to do it like this. It starts to get a little bit confusing when you're doing everything on the cam rig, for instance, and also it's just not really going to look right. So pitch arm, that 0, 0, yep. And then we've got the chase cam here. Really what we should do now is put in the spring arm, but I'll just show you what it looks like without that. So if we were to run it now, it would look exactly the same. So what should we do here? Now, we're just going to get in the mouse movement for now. I'm going to show you what that would look like. So I'm just going to type this up here. So cam rig, which we need to bring in here. Yep, so the cam rig I've already declared, and we've got the pitch arm and the chase cam, which we'll fix that up. We've got a reference here to the spring arm already, which we'll put in later to figure out the collision stuff. Rotate Y, deg to rad. What is it? A negative event dot relative dot x. So this is the mouse movement in the x direction. So we can time that by the mouse sense. And then we're going to pitch arm, rotate x, so the y. So this is the up and down mouse movement, the y, and then the x. So we need to take those two and then apply that in 3D space. So we don't just apply it to the camera, because then it would just look straight down. And then after we do this, we're going to need to clamp it, the pitch arm, because we don't want it to look underneath the car. So we're going to pitch arm dot rotate, rotation x, I should say, equals clamp pitch arm dot rotation dot x, deg to rad, degrees to radians, and then we're going to go 20, and then what's this one, deg to rad, let's go 90. Cool, I'm going to see what that looks like. So as we move the mouse around, it should move the camera. Yep, cool. I think it looks alright. think. I'm gonna figure out if that's the right way. I mean, some people like their view inverted, but those people are crazy. I think the Y might need inverting. No, that's not the Y. Yeah, there we go. That's how I would like it. That's nice. So we drive around and we can look. But obviously that chase camera position isn't going to go back to default. But what we would need to do to set that back to default now is just reset the pitch arm and the cam rig, which I'll do over here in this screen. If we just reset those two positions, then it'll just go back to normal. So what we need to do is essentially that. So we're going to need to create a timer. We'll call that we'll call it a cam rig timer, cam swing timer we'll call it. And we're going to make that, yeah, say 1 second. And it will be a one shot, meaning it'll restart every time we do it. No, which means it'll stop once it's over and not just keep restarting. Yep, that's what we want. So I'm going to chuck that cam swing timer in here. Cool. And then we'll go time since last. I guess before we do that, we should actually just try and lerp it back to its original position to see what that looks like. So cam rig 3D dot rotation dot y. So we're going to go equals lerp angle from to 0. I think that's what we want, and we'll just do it by the delta times 5, sure. And then we're also going to go the pitch arm rotation dot x. I'll just grab that. Why not? Put that there, and then we'll see what that looks like. It's gonna look a little bit dodge, but here we go. So it's making its way back. And I mean, if that's what you want, you can do that, but that's not really great. What we really should be doing is checking for the mouse input. Oh, actually, we need it to sort of chase the car still, don't we? Okay, so what we can do there is the cam rig and the pitch. So we don't need the pitch arm. What we need is that plus, like I suppose it's just rotation.y, isn't it? No, there we go. Yeah, alright. That makes sense. It'll be 0 plus rotation.y. There we go. So now as the car moves around, it's going to slowly chase the back of the car. So obviously we can change how dramatic that is, and I would suggest or recommend doing that based on the speed. So obviously it's going to be while you're driving around slowly, we can have that set to like 1. But if you're going really fast and you're trying to corner like this, you're probably going to want that set obviously 5 or something like that, just a little bit higher. Maybe we'll set it for 3 for now, because we want to exaggerate the effects so we know that it's working for now. There we go, that's perfect. Cool, so next thing we need to do, now that we've done this, is obviously that swing camera timer, and also a button to sort of cycle through the different camera angles. And if you're up to this point and wondering why my mouse is disappearing and yours isn't, it's because you need to go into the ready function and just type out this line right here. It can get annoying because you need to alt tab out to get your mouse back, but it's definitely, you kind of need it when we're working on a camera, swinging a camera around, camera movement, that sort of stuff. But first we should set up as well a bind for the uh, joypad, controller, whatever you want to call it. So cam left is going to be the right stick left and cam right. Right, and just keeping in line with what we like to do, we'll have a keyboard option obviously as well, so we can debug it without the controller being on. So KP4 and 6. Cam left and right. Yeah, okay, I'm happy with that. Now here, basically we'd need to go LF joypad, event joypad motion, and then we can get this event relative stuff as well. But if I go event is, I wonder what this would do. Oh no, obviously that doesn't make any sense. Cool, of course it doesn't make sense. So what I'm trying to say is we need this. So this is going to be X movement. And this is going to be Y movement. Which is going to be a float, both of them. X movement equals, and then Y movement is this one here. Y movement, but if we then take this and move it down, we basically want to have if event is input event mouse motion, or event is input event joypad motion. And nest all of that. So we're only going to calculate these things if it's either one of those, which is probably not going to be great, but we'll see how it goes. So these things here we need to then move out. About mouse motion. So X movement equals then this, right? Bam. Equals negative event relative. So these two can be 0. LF event equals, yep, so then we want to var cam movement. Get input, I suppose we could do that. Or cam input, I suppose, equals input dot get axis. It's cam left and cam right, although I think we've got to start with cam right. I got a feeling. Cam left, here we go. So cam input. We still need up and down, don't we? Yeah, of course. Cam up, cam down, cam down, cam up, cam down. Add those in as well. Perfect. So cam input H, and then we'll get cam input V, cam up and cam down, although that's probably going to be a cam down and cam up, not this way around. So we would have X movement is that, I think. Let's just try that. We'll see how that goes. That's going to be an interesting one to check. Oh yeah, look at that. So it is working, we just need that swing. So we don't have that joystick sensitivity, which is joy sense. We don't actually have that. Where's your sense of joy? Joy sense. We're actually going to make that like 2. Then we'll restart that and have a look at that. So like I said, then we need to work out this swing. Cool, so it is moving. Yep, feels good, except for that obvious glitchiness. Cool, so input. It's either of these two things. If event is bang or bang. So then we else our return. We just get the hell out of there. And then right here, so it's either one of those things. If X movement and Y movement. Wish we could do it like that. And Y movement 0, then we just return as well. Otherwise, we're going to assume that there is input. So we're going to take that cam swing timer. Oh, we didn't even bring it in. Yeah. Whoa. Oh. We're going to start that cam swing timer. So we're just going to start it over and over and over and over and over and over again. And we'll set it to 2 seconds so it's obvious. Nah, we'll set it to 1.5. We don't need that long. Yeah, 1.5. I was just going to set it back to 1, but that would be defeatist of me. We don't quit. On cam swing timer timeout is returning. Nah, that's it. So then we start to swing it back. Swing back equals true. We need to, I guess here, last swing back, bool equals false. Actually, no, we're going to say is swung. Is swung is false. Swung equals false. And then it's just going to go back because this is only going to work, not that one, the one in process, if is swung, if not is swung. That's what's going to bring us back. So this should just work. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be issues, but we'll just try it. Okay, so is swung we need to set to true. So that's whenever that start is happening. Cancelling timer.start is swung equals true. Well, we're going to go back. Okay, so we need to add some delta in there because that movement is horrendous. It's on input though. That's the thing. X movement and Y movement. Okay, so we're going to need to X cam movement. Yeah, we're going to change the name to X cam movement. So XY, XY, X, oh, Y. Like that? That's funny. Y cam movement. So if X cam movement or Y cam movement greater than 0.0, then we do all this. So that's going to go in here. Yep. LF is swung. So these two are diametrically opposed. Oh, that's a big word. So we should be able to work them into the same function here. Now we need some absolutes in there, I think. Need some absolutes. So both 0, because the thing about this is this joypad motion is going to work for the steering as well. This is going to trigger for the steering. So we need to make sure that it's just doing it for the camera. And that's what this little function here is about, or this little line of code. Because we don't want to say it's swung if it's not. So XCam movement, yep. We need to make sure these are both absolute. ABS. And the reason I say that is because we want to know if left or right is moving. And when we've got an axis like that, right was above 0 or whatever, and 0 was below. So this should now work. Yep. So we've got a nice camera. It's following the player. If we were to drive up a hill, it wouldn't rotate heinously and be looking at the sky. And if we were to flip this thing, which let's get a little bit of speed and we'll try and flip it, the camera doesn't flip and we can still move around. So obviously there's issues there, but I think this is going to spin around. There we go. Bam. Look at that. That's beautiful. Perfect. So next thing we need to do is add a camera switcher in. So we're going to add a new action, or we'll call it cam switch. So switch cam, because we've already got some that start with cam. So cam switch, we'll make that, what's it, C? We'll make it V for view. And here we'll make it just Y. So the triangle button, whatever you want to call it. Cam switch. Alright, so then down here in input, I'm going to go to LF. Event is input, fudge, what do we call it? Event, input event joypad button, or event is input event keypad press. What was it? Key? Yeah, it is. It's just key. Past that, make sure we didn't break it. Yep. So now we need to check if cam switch. If cam switch, or if input dot is action pressed, or is action just pressed, cam switch. LF. I'm just wondering if we should do the LF here. It should be LF because we can get like, you know, 3 different inputs in a frame, right? Is action just press cam switch? Now we want to go switch cam. And then obviously that switch cam is going to be a +1 by default. Switch cam. So we need to go, nah, screw it, we'll just keep it whatever for now. Cam index is one that we need. Plus equals 1. And then if cam index is greater than all cameras array, dot length, I think you call it size. So take 1, because index 1 means size 1. So we take the size take 1. If cam index, then cam index is equal to 0, which means we go back to the start. So cam index. Now, so we need those two things, cam index and current cam. So var all cameras array. So this is going to be an int, and this bottom one is going to be an array of camera 3Ds on ready. Or we could just do it in the ready function. So I could go equals and then add those cameras there, but just for ease, well, readability I should say, we will just chuck it here. So all cameras array dot append. Was it camera 3D? And what is it, chase cam. Also all cameras array, and we've got cam index equals 0. So then we're going to turn off both of these cameras, make sure neither of them are current so it doesn't mess around. In main scene, I've noticed, I don't know if the issue is gone, but we need to have a camera in the main scene. If there's no camera, like the game kind of wigs out a little bit. So we're just going to create a camera, going to Alt M, so it moves to our position. I'm going to find a really cool spot, like here, Alt M, Alt Control M, sorry. And we're going to make that one current. Now this is just, I call it a scene cam. It's just, we need to have a camera in the scene. So we may as well just use this one. And so that's the first thing that you're going to see when the game loads up. Unless you've got something else selected. But like I said, like I've had issues like just rendering when there's no default cam. So now that we've got our two cameras in the array, I'm going to set camera. No, not set camera. We need to switch cam, new index, int equals -1. So if new index is greater than -1, then we need to else we're cycling. So cycle without an input greater than -1. Cool. So it goes up. Bam, cam index equals 0. And then after that, we go all cameras array, and then we get the cam index, and then we go dot set current true. Now, once we've done that, if new index equals greater than 1, so if we've set that, we just want to cam index equals new index. Cool, so that's going to mess around, but we're only going to do that to set it essentially at the start, which was this. So then we go switch cam 0, and that's going to force index 0, and then it's going to change to index 0, which is going to be the camera. So this should just work now. We'll see if there's any issues. We hit Y, and bam. So we can switch now between the different camera angles, and everything is fine and dandy. How cool is that? So this track here, I really should have made like longer, but I think what I'm going to do in the next episode is probably add gears and audio. I know I've been talking about that for a while, but there's kind of just like a lot of other tutorials that do it, so I'm kind of just putting it off because, you know, it's something that I'm kind of still learning myself as well. Whereas this stuff is kind of sort of second nature to me at this point, especially setting up something simple like just an array of cameras that we can switch between, and also the remote position transformation stuff. As well, yeah, like we probably should mess around with this car a little bit. So I'm going to do that before we close this one out. Oh, so actually we've got a bug. As I'm moving the camera around, you see we've got movement even when there is no movement. So it's working fine with the joystick, but it looks like, yeah, okay, so that's going to be in the input event, I'm guessing. Let's have a look. Input event, xcam, if event is, yep, xcam movement. Xcam movement, yeah, that's on event. Let's try and figure this out. Okay, it's not elegant, but we probably could just do this. Actually, no, does that make any sense? No, wait. Okay, wait, this should work. If we go to physics process, and then we input dot get last mouse velocity, screen velocity. Oh, what is that? If equals 0, xcam movement. Really, we should go mouse. Yeah. So we should go mouse, mouse, xcam movement. It's not super efficient, but this should work. Vector 2. Dot length. We'll just go dot length. Push it into a single number. And now we need to, where is it? Take this cam movement. And maybe do this. Cam movement mouse. Plus. So we are calculating them separately now. Cool. Now that looks good. So we get to look around, and then after 1 second of no movement, goes back. And it's going to be probably a little bit dodgy if we try and move it around while it's going back, but actually no, that doesn't make sense. No, it should all be working really well. Yeah, so if you want to add, let's say, another camera in there, you can very easily just say a camera here. Let's say you want a hood cam. Call this one hood cam. And we will just make sure it's selected there. I'll move it to the hood. In fact, let's screw hood cam. No, we'll do another one as well. And then we'll call this one wheel cam 1. And we're going to put this one down here. Get that like cool camera angle of the front wheels moving around. Maybe FOV, something a little bit more reasonable. Yeah, just so we can see where we're going as well. Cool, now we can take those two cameras. And where is the camera 3D? Okay, he's at the top. And then chase cam's going to be there somewhere as well, so I'll just bring chase cam down there as well. Cool, so that's all that stuff. We'll bring it down. Just to keep things nice and neat. Cool. So we go bam, hood cam, and wheel cam. Bam and bam. And that should just work. So like I said, the last thing I'm going to do is just play around with these vehicle settings a bit and show you what I can come up with, because it is really wobbly right now and there's a lot of like quick little settings you can change. Oh shiz. So that's because these are top level. I forgot to set that back. So hood cam and thingo cam. I'm going to turn off top level. I'm going to run that again. Alright, now let's have a look at that. We've got hood cam. We've got front wheel cam. I live for this camera angle right here. So one thing I might just quickly do is increase the engine power. Let's make it 3000. Why not? Got this few views. We can chuck a better view in as well, one that's a little bit closer to the cam. And we can exaggerate this drift sort of movement a little bit more as well. In fact, this camera is probably the one that we want forward a little bit. Yeah, it's probably this one. So bring that one forward. So cam one, I think we've got the camera one remote position. Cool. So one thing we're going to notice while this is this close as well is that this guy's head is probably going to touch into the camera a bunch like that. So one way around that, and the easiest way around that, is this character has its head and the rest of his body sort of split into two different things. So I don't think we have any layers here, so I'm going to put these both on layer 2. We're going to go back to camera 1. Where's camera 1? So I'll just drag it back so you can see what's happening. So on camera 1, we're going to get rid of layer 2. So now it's not going to process that. So I'm just going to put that back, get rid of 2. I mean, it's the cheapest and easiest way to do it. But if you were to put that camera over his head or something like that, if you really wanted the camera to sort of look a little bit more realistic, then this is the only way that you're going to be able to do it cleanly, while also seeing your interior. Of course, we've got to move the camera remote as well. There we go. Cool, so this is starting to look pretty good, I think. You can just imagine how cool it's going to be with some sounds in there. See, we can see his neck there, but that's nowhere near as bad. And I mean, the body is completely over exaggerated at the moment, but to a point, we want it to be exaggerated. So, yeah, it's looking pretty cool. So, first thing I'm going to do with this car is actually go and mess around with these wheels, because these wheels are most of the problem. Where if we look at, let's say, the wheel roll influence, I mean, we can keep that at 1, but then we've got stiffness. Yep. So this should probably be around 1, and this should be around 0.88. Yeah, like it's default. I think this is already going to look better. So you see the car's sticking to the ground a little bit more. We're starting to get a little bit of drifting action going on. And in fact, maybe that's what I'll do next episode. We'll add some some tire skid marks, because I haven't really figured out how to do that yet. And no, that'd probably be a good one to learn for me as well. But definitely like some particle effects, skidding effects. Obviously, in my game that I'm working on, it's off-road, so there's a lot of like dust that gets kicked up and stuff like that. But you know, we can adapt for on-road as well. Cool. So, I mean, I'm pretty happy with that for now. Yeah, if you guys like it, make sure to check out the Patreon. I'm gonna have the game files for this up. If you want a little bit more help, come and join the Discord. I'm always free for a chat. Um, yeah, I mean, like I can do like private tutoring and stuff like that. I mean, I've been tossing up the idea, but you know, I just don't really know how to advertise that, right? Other than that, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube, all that good stuff. And we'll see you in the next video. Take it easy, boys. Almost forgot. Well, I did forget. We need to add the spring arm in so our camera doesn't collide with the terrain anymore. So what we want to do here is go to the cam rig, the pitch arm here, and we want to add that spring arm 3D. So we're going to just add a shape in. So we'll shape cast just like a sort of 0.3 radius sphere. And we're going to make that spring arm length about 2 meters, I think that was. So 3.5 meters back. 3.5 meters, or is it 3.5? I think this is going to go in the opposite direction. So we'll go negative 3.5. And then on the end of that, we're going to actually add that chase cam back in. So I think I just want to get the angle right, because I think this is going to make all of this a lot easier if we just angle this now to sort of look down. And then what I'm going to do is put that chase cam on the spring arm and then reset the position of the camera. And now if we were to run that, it should sort of just push the camera back to the position where it was at. Should. Oh, here we go. Hold on. Of course, so we've got to go set our, what's it called, chase cam back up. The reference to it, because we've moved it now. So we go chase cam. And this should fix everything. So this looks exactly the way it did before. I'm not sure why the, what's it called, the camera is messing around a little bit. Oh, what's going on here? Alright, well it's just this piece of code here. I guess we'll just get rid of that for now. Or comment it out. I can't remember how you do that. What is it, like Control K? That's the one. Cool, so either way, it's working now. I said it's working now. It feels like that's longer than, oh, it's 1.5 seconds, isn't it? Yeah, okay. Alright, well that makes sense. And then it goes back. No, here we go. Okay, so when we touch something else, it resets it. So that means that what we really should be doing is this. I thought before, I had a feeling that we had to do this, because this is when we're actually getting the movement, right? And so if we're not getting the movement, then it's going to interfere with like other things that are going on, I believe. Okay, so we need to actually, yeah, that makes sense. So we can go if cam movement here, then we return, because this is trying to mess around with our stuff right here. Of course, I go if. Awesome. And now that should fix everything. So it's not going to get confused while we're doing something else. Yeah. So we can hit another button. Yeah, it's not going to get confused. Awesome. So with that spring arm, now that I can actually show that off, bug fixing aside, with that spring arm, we're not going to get any sort of clipping. So it's going to stop right there when it touches the hill. And that's basically all I had to show. So there you go. Hope you enjoy. Make sure to follow the Patreon. Come and join the Discord. Give us a holler. Yeah, cheers. Thanks for watching.